All right, so welcome to Westside Regional Center's CPP CRDP Startup Request Information Session. We're going to be going over projects that we got approved from DDS. So the presenters will be me. My name is Monica Jauregui. I'm the CPP CRDP Housing Manager here for Westside Regional Center. And we also have Ellen Liao. Ellen, did you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Ellen Liao. I am a Westside CPP QA specialist. I will be presenting some of the projects today. Elizabeth.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Flores. I am a CPP QA specialist here at Westside Regional Center. I oversee EBSH homes, CCH homes, our efficient homes, CPP homes, and residential homes.
And this is our contact information. I also will be reviewing this at the end. If you guys have any questions or any comments, you guys can feel free and reach out to us. All right. Okay. Just quickly going through some housekeeping. Please feel free to mute yourself unless you're speaking. Really quick, just a little picture of what it means. I figured that after 3 years of remote learning and all that, we kind of know how this works, but it's still good to review. And then another thing too is if you guys would like to use the chat box, you guys are welcome to. We'll be monitoring that as well. So if you guys have any questions, any comments or anything like that, you guys can feel free to use the chat box. Another reminder too, we will be going over questions and comments at the end of the presentation. So if you guys want to keep your questions to the end, that'd be great as well. All right, okay. Okay, so we're going to be going over CPP CRDP project goals. So goal number 1 is to develop services that are person-centered, specialized, and represent cultural and linguistic diversity throughout the regional center's catchment area. Goal number 2, develop systems to ensure that quality services and supports in the least restrictive environment are provided to individuals in the community. Goal 3 is to expand the availability, accessibility, and types of services and supports to meet current and future needs of individuals and their families in the community. Okay, now we're going to go into the projects that we received or that we got approved.
Okay, so
go ahead, Ellen.
Sorry. So the first project, I think a lot of people here probably very interesting, is a residential treatment program. We are seeking vendors or to develop 4I homes, a residential facility to serve an individual with substance use disorders. The home will be served. Residents require a structured licensed setting while receiving a specialized support to assist them in working towards the transition to the less restricted community settings. This type of project, we are seeking individual who has experiences of working with people with maybe alcohol or drug dependencies. We are hoping that this home will be designed for therapeutic type of setting. So we'll be focused on therapy, mental health support, substance abuse support, and BCBA could be used for consultant, as a part of consultant if it's needed. And we do have quite a bit of fund for startup. That means the fund can be used for housing development as well as renovations. And the staff we are looking, bare minimum certification will be CAADE certification. That's for alcohol and drug counseling certification. And the staff most likely will need to have CPI training as well as a first aid and CPR. That's it so far. We'll go for the next project, please. And the individual who maybe will stay at the 4I home that specializes for substance abuse, drug dependent type of support. Once the individual is ready to transition down to a more less restriction setting, will be seeking individual vendors to support by enhanced supported living services, specialized supporting living service for individual with substance abuse and or mental health service needs. This will including specialized counsel support from the mental health and substance abuse professionals. Again, this will be kind of transition to assist an individual who previously living at the 4I home. Previous we suggest that this will help the individual transition into more community setting living. This is not just focus on individual has a substance abuse dependent only, but we also would support individual who has mental health. As we know, some of the individual we support currently are having a dual diagnosis. And it's very difficult to find a supported living agency able to support their needs. Next, please. And this one is actually a very good project because we heard the community counseling tell regional center that, you know, a lot of individuals who might be risk at the forensic involvement and who might be very challenged to place at the job placement or the programs. So this project was specialized focus on employment focus on to support individual risk at the forensic involvement. We wanted to do a prevention and instead after, and also with individual who have complex behavioral needs that could be including the individual might have substance abuse. I'm sorry. Sorry. So the individual might have a substance dependency. The individual might have mental health needs, or the individual might have forensic involvement, or all three combined. So this is a special service that we would like to have to develop to support the individual who has a complex needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. Yeah, as Ellen mentioned, the cool thing too is that these three are kind of like step downs, right? So we have that 4I home, and then we have the enhanced supported living services that kind of is more of a step down for that. And then that could be combined or even further step down with this specialized day employment service. So that's pretty cool. All right. And then we go into specialized respite services. So this is for Elizabeth.
Yes, so for this services, it's divided into two services that would be for specialized respite and home for those who have behavior support needs, and for those individuals that require healthcare support needs. The allocation for behavior would be $125,000. In terms of the healthcare support respite, it would be $50,000. So again, that's divided into two services: the respite for behaviors and the respite for those with medical needs. Next. And this one is for early intervention services. In-home therapy services for children residing in underserved communities of Westside Regional Center service area. This may include Inglewood, Lenox, Hawthorne, South LA, or Gardena. And the allocation for this is $225,000. And lastly, this project was approved last year. This was a training program to increase signing capabilities of DSPs to improve service access for the deaf and hard of hearing communities. The allocation was $50,000. When this project started, unfortunately, the agency that was going to move forward fell through. So now we are seeking another provider to move forward with the service, and we only have 1 year to get the program up and running.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Sorry. I know that we had Elaine on here. Elaine, did you want to chime in or mention anything regarding this project?
So we're, Elizabeth pretty much covered everything. Like
Okay.
she said, the agency that we originally had, they are unable to move forward with the project. We're basically seeking an agency who can provide American Sign Language training to our vendors and staff, so that they're able to effectively communicate with our individuals that we serve.
Thank you. Perfect. Okay. So I did want to throw in HCBS Compliance just because you guys as our service providers, hopefully this isn't the first time you hear this, but you know, all of our projects do have to be HCBS Compliance, right? So I know that Chris, our HCBS manager, is here. So, but I did want to go over this really quick. So HCBS Compliance, Home and Community-Based Services Waiver, right? This helps California maintain the Land Termination Act by bringing in federal revenue. Also helps ensure that regional center service recipients who wish to reside in the family home and in the community can do so with appropriate services and supports. Also, CPP and CRDP projects are required to show compliance with the Home and Community-Based Services HCBS final rules. All right. And that was it for our projects. Really, really quick, sorry, before we get into questions. I did want to go over a little snippet of like the timeline of what we're looking at, what the proposals basically should have in submission. So we're looking or shooting for the end of April to submit proposals for the projects that you're interested in. Once that happens, then we will have evaluations of the proposals by selection committee. And then we're also looking into start interviewing applicants, and specifically highest ranking applicants after or around May 1st. So that's what that looks like. Once we interview the highest ranking applicant, then we'll send out a notice of selection. And then we'll also post that on our website. So the applicants that were selected would be posted on our website. And then once that moves forward, then we'll do the startup contract. Another thing to have in mind is that this is just for the startup money, right? So we're going to be going over specific rates and everything once we get into detail, once we start, you know, the whole selection process, you get selected. And all that, that's when rates conversation will begin. Another thing, just really quick too, regarding what should be in the application. So really just a statement with your visions and values, right? You know, not more than 6 to 9 pages we're looking for. Again, it should really be just fully encompassing what your company or your mission is, what you're going to provide. Again, another thing too is that we're not going to be able to resubmit, right? So your first submit application should be what you really put in, you know, all your bread and butter in. Another thing, I think it's pretty much it, but yeah, let us know if you guys have any questions. I haven't been able to see the chat, so I don't know if people have been putting things in the chat, but we're open to questions if you guys have them or any comments.
Monica, we do have a question in the chat
Yeah.
from Daniel. For the enhanced SLS RFP, will this be solely a new SLS program, or may this enhancement be added to an existing SLS program for program design? And that was from Daniel Lopez.
Yeah, so that's a good question. I believe this would be a new SLS program design. But we can definitely look into that to see if it could be added to a proposal that's, I mean, somebody that's already in contract with us.
And we have a question from Yvonne. For early intervention program, may this be a clinic-based program?
Yeah, I don't know if we have specifics on what the resources specifically have to be. I think the main thing is just that it, you know, foster the individuals or the children that are in more rural areas, such as like Lenox, underserved communities, Hawthorne, parts of Gardena, in that case.
The next question is from Karen. When is CPI classes going to be offered in person? Karen, I would suggest that you go ahead and give me a call outside of this meeting. I can answer that. I will put my telephone number in the chat. The next question is, will you be posting PowerPoint online or can we request it via email? Monica, did you want to answer that?
Sorry, what was the question again?
Will you be posting this PowerPoint online or can we request it via email?
Yes, so this PowerPoint will be posted online on our website. That is why we're recording it as well. So yes, we will be posting it.
Okay, for SLS, I have vacant apartment units as well as interested in being the SLS service provider. Can I provide both services?
They're interested. Sorry, you were interested in becoming an SLS provider, and then you also have SLS apartments available? Is that what I heard?
Yes, that was the question. I can read it again. I have vacant apartment units as well as interested in being the SLS service provider. Can I provide both services?
Yeah, so I think, of course, you can definitely apply for being the SLS service provider. For the vacant units, I might have you reach out to our SLS quality assurance specialist. We can, Jesus, if you want, you can put your contact information on the chat for them.
Monica, if I can go back to just the question about the clinic-based program.
Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, in terms of a program being clinic-based, to be compliant with the HCBS final rule, there needs to be access to the community and some type of community integration.
Did everybody hear Chris? I don't know if it was just on my end, but I think you cut off a little bit, Chris.
I'm sorry? Did I freeze?
Yes. Can you repeat what you mentioned? Sorry.
Okay. Sorry, it must be my internet. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're good.
Okay. So what was mentioned would be an early intervention clinic-based program. So even with an early intervention clinic-based program, we want to make sure that there's some type of access to the community, whether it be events in the community with individuals who don't have a disability. This could be, you know, families doing things with other families, but in terms of HCBS compliance, it can't be solely clinic-based. There needs to be some type of community integration.
Thanks, Chris. Dr. Sarah Williams.
I was going to say Dr. Sarah Williams.
Hello, everyone. I just had a quick question, and I didn't really know if I was going to be able to type it correctly, so I figured I'd just say it out loud. In regards to the RFP for the Respite, can you clarify, does it have to be behavioral and health care, or is it behavior or?
Yeah, so that one's actually 2 projects. So it's two separate projects. So one is behavioral respite and the other one is more with medical need.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to make sure I confirmed since it was on the same slide. Thank you.
Yes. And then let me go back to the slides actually, because I just noticed that I didn't share our contact informations again. So. So that's our contact information. And then if somebody can help me out too and put in the chat our RFP email, that is where your proposals will be sent to.
And just be really quick, my contact phone number should be 310-258-4182.
Monica, we do have another question in the chat. What is the timeline?
The timeline for submission?
I'm assuming. Yvonne, did you want to?
Or just in general?
Yeah, did you want to go ahead and activate your mic and let us know, Yvonne?
Yes, I was just wondering by when you would like to have these documents in hand?
Yeah, so we're looking for the deadline of receipt of proposals by the end of April. We're going to be officially putting a timeline on our website as well on what we're looking for, but right now we're shooting for the end of April.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
I'm seeing no questions in the chat and no hands raised at this point.
One item I would like to add, and this is, I'm Andy Ponce, I'm the Director of Community Services here at Westside, is when you generate your proposal, please include your proposed budget on how you would intend to spend the grant award. And so, as Monica had mentioned, the funds that are allocated per project are startup funds. Those aren't ongoing service funds. So when you submit your proposal, you also need to submit like a proposed budget of what those, so if you put in for like a $50,000 project, how much of that is going to materials, consultant fees, staffing. So we just need to kind of break that down. And we have some guidance that we'll be able to post on the website with that. So
and we have a couple other questions that have come in. Can you touch more on early intervention? What kind of therapy? How many children should we be ready to service?
Really at this point, it's just the array of early intervention services. I mean, we pretty much need to increase our accessibility in all underserved communities. So when a project is stated in general terms, it's because the moment we start adding increased verbiage, we limit the scope and the creativity of what you all can submit. So basically, come up with your concept, come up with your ideas, generate a proposal. The purpose of the startup is to really have some new creative ideas. And so if you're a practitioner and you have thoughts on what would be a really good use of these funds to increase access ongoing, then by all means, submit your proposal and let's be creative. Another question I saw, with these projects, they really need to be located within Westside's catchment area. The challenge we have, if it's a residential type program and it's housed in another regional center's catchment area, we cannot directly vendor you. You'd have to be vendored through your home regional center. So no, we would be looking for a facility located within Westside's catchment area for the purposes of the startup funds. So if we are unable to identify a residence within our catchment area, then there is provision for us to be able to go through the department and get approval to look at locations in other regional center catchment areas. But at the front end, no, we would say it would need to be a Westside geographically located residence.
And I'm seeing no more questions in the chat at this point and no hands raised.
All right, well, no more questions. Going once, going twice. We're good. Oh, I see something.
I think we only
Did
have
you
a partial
speak to
question
when?
there.
What was it?
Okay, when awards would be listed, yeah. So we're hoping to start the interviews after May 1st. So we're thinking maybe that week we'll just focus on interviews. After that, we'll have to rank the applicants. We'll review the interviews, and then hoping by maybe mid-May, selecting the applicants.
All project winners would have to be entered into contract prior to June 30th.
Yes.
So we probably wouldn't announce winners until we had the contract signed by the winner and Westside. So I would say probably in June, as far
June.
as any sort of announcement on our website. Yeah, because that contracting process can take a couple of weeks.
And then you guys got the RFP email.
Marissa, I see you activated your mic. Did you have a question? Maybe not. Nope. Doesn't look like it.
Andy, sorry, really quick. The RFP email would be RFP@WRC. Where?
Yeah, let's use that one. Let me put it in there.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments? We're good. Well, we're excited. We're excited to see this many people interested. That gives us some hope, and we look forward to seeing your applications and your interest and reading over them, and hopefully contacting you guys.
Monica, we had one last minute
Yes.
question.
Okay,
Can we
sure.
submit multiple multiple RFPs?
To different projects? Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't see anything wrong with that. Specifically, we would want you guys to really focus on one, but if you guys think that some can overlap, which we just said that there's some step downs and everything. So I think that should be okay.
And if you have additional questions or you are unsure of a point on your proposal, please don't hesitate to reach out to Ellen, Monica, or Elizabeth. Because yeah, I've been working with CPP proposals for probably about 15 years. And there's a lot of times where someone will put in a lot of effort and submit something and they kind of miss the boat as far as like what we were really looking for. So if you need a point of clarification, do not hesitate to reach out before you get too deep in your proposal. We typically try not to be too detailed because we don't want to limit, like I said, your creativity. We want to see new projects. We want to see creativity. We want to see different things. The reason why these are service gaps is because we didn't already have, a tried and true system for meeting that need. So we do want to see something new. Application format. I know that, correct me if I'm wrong, Monica, but I think you were going to be uploading that on the website, or were you going to be
Yes.
sending out to registrants on the website, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I will be uploading that to the website. I would say within the next week or two. It'll be posted up. And then
Let's
Chris
start-
just mentioned. Oh,
Yeah, I would say
Sorry.
just start working on your concept designs, because like I said, we're not looking for a full program design at this point. This is just like an abbreviated concept design that we would use to determine the startup investment into your project. And so by June 30th, we need to have all of our winners into contract for the startup funds. Ongoing vendorization for these services will come later, because of course the startup would go towards building your projects. So. And yeah, I would say we would probably need to shoot for April 30th, because we have to have the time to be able to do a review of proposals, especially if they all come in around April 30th. A lot of times with RFPs, we tend to get all of them, like 90% of them, like after 9 p.m. on the last day.
yeah.
So, you know, we kind of expect that. So we need time to go through. If there are points where we have to follow up with the applicants on, we have to do that, score, schedule interviews. And so if we have a lot of great proposals, we got to interview and score everybody. That process and getting all that coordinated can take a few weeks. Then, like I said, when we have our winners, then it's a matter of entering into contract. And so that takes a period of time. And then we need to have the fully executed contracts and all of that wrapped up before the end of June. And so we really want to have the deadline, you know, set at an early enough point. Other things we have to do is that we have to leave enough time, because if we have a particular project area where we don't have a lot of applicants on, then we may have to, you know, kind of look at doing a second round of solicitation, because we want to get all projects awarded. Typically, when we do CPP, CRDP proposals, you see like a couple of projects that might have a heavier concentration of interest. But regardless, we have to have everything wrapped up and done before June 30th. So we don't want to have that deadline too far back. And yeah, all this, we could definitely post the timeline. Any other questions?
Good. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for your time. Thanks for joining. Thanks for registering. Again, we're excited to see all the proposals that are going to be coming in. And yeah, we'll be contacting you guys once we receive them.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.